Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be going over an easy way that you can set up a Bible study or prayer notebook. So this is the one I'm going to be showing you today. This is just the Happy Planner notes. So it's just basically, is this grid? Yep. So I have the dot grid paper. So I'm just going to show you 3 different sections that you can set up. You could use a spiral notebook. You can use pretty much any type of extra notebook that you have at home. You could also do this digitally if you like digital planning. So I'm going to show you the sections. I'm not going to show you a flip through of the whole thing because it does have some like private prayer requests in here. So I don't want to share that, but I thought I would share it with you if you are looking to set up a prayer or Bible study notebook and you wanted something that was really easy. So this has, let's see, 3 different tab sections. You don't have to tab your sections. I just used it because that's how the notebook came. So I have this in the beginning and it's just some reminders that I think are good to have. So as you guys can tell, these are things of the enemy, and I think you know who that is. And these are the things that we can use against him. So the first section I'm going to show you is, let's see, just a little cover sheet of how you can set a page up before you dive into reading a book of the Bible. So I started this in July of this year, and surprisingly, time has just flown by and I'm still using the same system. So I thought that that was a good amount of time just to share with you guys what I'm doing. So this is really easy. So these are some of the sections that I have. At the top, I wrote down the book of the Bible, whether it was Old Testament or New Testament, the author, key people, the date I read it, a little bit of background information, key themes, attributes of Christ and the Lord, and then important verses and repeated phrases. So I will basically do the top portion before I start reading, and that can be found if you have a study Bible. It is usually in the very front of the Bible. So if you have a study Bible, it'll give you a lot of background information and key people and the setting. So you can definitely get that from a study Bible. And that's kind of what I fill in first. And then as I'm reading, I will fill in the main themes that I'm pulling out and also the attributes and any important verses or repeated phrases. A really good way to tell the themes of the chapter that you're reading is just look at the headings. So here is the book of James again, and as you can tell in this Bible, it does have little headings that kind of separate the chapter out. And what I've been doing is just reading about 1 chapter a day. I feel like any more than that, sometimes it doesn't happen. So I just think, 1 chapter a day has been good. Sometimes I only have time in the morning to do my scripture writing. So I think when I just finished the book of James, and I think it took me it's only 5 chapters, but I think it may have taken me 2 or 3 weeks because I only had a couple of days that I had that much time. So I am 6 months pregnant and a little bit out of breath. So I apologize for that, but also that's why I just haven't been able to get up in the morning because I've just been exhausted. So this is a really easy way, like I said, that you can set up a blank page to kind of dig in, quickly get the information, and then you can just go back and add to it as you read. So the next page that you can set up is well, I'll go ahead and show you guys this. This was just my notes. It's not fancy, it's not decorated, but basically for each chapter, I think I started, right here. So here's James 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I just took notes as I was reading. And then there's also a couple of course, like resources that you can use to do a Bible study, because I usually do mine at home. Our church they don't really have like Sunday school. They have small groups, and the small groups are always at a time that I cannot meet. So I do my Bible study at home by myself, and I try to use a lot of biblically sound resources, because that's really important. So something else that you can set up is a kind of monthly dashboard. And I have just put down some washi tape, like I said, nothing fancy, really simple, and I fill this out throughout the month. So I put my blessings at the top and specific prayers that I have at the bottom. So I've done this, like I said, every month since July, and it's been really nice just to go back and look over what I was grateful for and what I was praying for. So that's something else that you can set up. Let's see. The next tab is going to be, I think this tab right here are a lot of prayers. And here's just a little glimpse. So there was a book, I think it's called Prayers of Rest, that I downloaded, just the digital, and it basically has verses to go along with like how you're feeling at the time. So in this section, like I said, I can't show you the other pages, but I thought this was okay. July 23rd, I was feeling very uneasy about a situation, so I wrote down this Bible verse and I kind of just prayed over it. You can also use a section to write down notes from podcasts. I really like the Christian's Habits podcast by Barb Raveling. Her podcast is really good, and so is The Christian Working Woman, which I think whether you work inside or outside of the home, The Christian Working Woman is a really great podcast as well. So I started to take notes in here, and then I think I ended up finishing listening to the episode in the car. So I just put one little note. And then I also put, for October 2nd, I did my scripture writing in here. So I write down the date, the book and the verse, and then I also, for my scripture writing, have been putting the heading again from my study Bible, the little kind of lines that are above each section, because I feel like I like to do topical scripture plans. So the one for October is called Raise Your Gaze, like look up towards the Lord. And although I know that's what the study is about, I think it's also important just to get a little bit of context of the Bible verse that you're reading, because there are so many Bible verses that, especially in social media, are taken completely out of context. I think it's important that when we do scripture writing, we still try to read either the whole, not necessarily the whole chapter, but maybe the whole paragraph, a couple verses before and after. So I did start doing that, so I just wanted to show you that as well. So like I said, that's a really easy way that you can add something else to your prayer section. And then the last section back here, this is like a deep dive into scripture. So it's basically, let's see, this was, oh, and also a Thankful Homemaker podcast. She has really good resources, and her podcast is just really great. She really just goes over everything. So this was a deep dive into Psalm 1, and this honestly is probably my favorite type of way to study Bible verses. Obviously it is a lot. I enjoy reading, I enjoy history, so this is what I would love to do every single day, but I just don't have the time, because this probably took like maybe an hour. So this is just, the back section is just, like I said, a deep dive. So there's one example of an in-depth Bible study on some verses, and like I said, this is Psalm 1. Then we have another example right here, and this was Psalm 110, 1-4. And so Psalm 1 was from a podcast, kind of like Bible study. You did it like with her as she did it. And then this is actually from an app on my iPad, and there are certain words that you can tell that are highlighted, and those were kind of used as cross references, but also gave you like the historical context. And I really enjoy anything like that. And then this last one over here is for this type of Bible study with the highlighting. I believe that I did a video on this. It was a really like easy highlighting way to do a Bible study. I believe that's what that is from. So there's just another one. So that is the last section that I have in this notebook. But I wanted to share it with you guys, just if you were interested in setting one up for the new year, or if you want to go ahead and start right now, since we are in, let's see, the month of October. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I have gone over today, please let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye.